Old Star 1-1, Fox 3, Moles 07447, Angels 20.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard the USS Theodore Roosevelt. Today, we're going to be running a sortie into Syria. We are on Grayflag Syria to take out an sa-3 site. So, we have... Let me go outside and show you. We have two harms. We have two AIM-120s, we have two AIM-9Xs, and we have 6 tall decoys. So, what we'll probably do is climb up to 35,000 feet, punch off our talds, do a loop around, come back in, and while they're being distracted, we'll hopefully be able to fire our harms off at them. If all goes as we hope, we'll suppress the site, come back to the boat, and potentially go back out and hit one of the bases near there that's being protected by that site. Of course, you never know what will happen along the way. We might end up dumping off our harms early if we run into another SAM site that picks us up. Might run into trouble up there and we might have to divert to Beirut. But assuming that everything goes according to plan, we'll be taking off here any moment. And then we'll be headed up into Syria.
Chief, remove the wheel chocks.
It is an absolutely ghastly day, but this is what you get with Weather Wednesdays on Grayflag Syria. Honestly, I rather enjoy the weather. It does keep things interesting, and it really makes you have to think about how you're going to approach different operations. You can't have the same level of precision and, I don't know, casualness that you get flying a plane with a targeting pod at 40,000 feet. I normally hide my stick and don't show my pilot, but they just recently updated the model for the pilot, and I kind of like the way the cat shot is now. Brings me back to playing Battlefield 3 back in the day. Always a good day when you make it airborne and don't end up getting splashed into the sea. Especially with weather this crummy. I can't wait to come back to the boat and fly into the back of it. Once we get up through the clouds, though, it should get to be a lot prettier. Look at that, we're already starting to leave the muck behind. Do the smart thing and set up our bingo. Be a real shame if we actually do end up trying to fly back to the boat and we run out of fuel partway there. Over here on Saharial Airlines, we do our utmost to avoid inconveniencing you on all of your travels. That includes avoiding running out of fuel.
Question 11, checking cap, bullseye 0774, Angels 22.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We've reached our cruising altitude of a comfortable 35,000 feet, and we'll be holding here for the next, give or take, 80 miles. Put ourselves in a barometric altitude hold, and we can let the plane cruise for a bit. Anyway, I was talking about this the other day in the F-18 about how the radar beam mapping for the other planes, it makes it very difficult to actually understand anything that's on them. And there's a good example. You can see that the coastline's there, but if you can tell me what anything on that screen is, I would be thoroughly impressed. Other than that, we have our TALD selected, the 82 Papas, and I don't expect this to be a very eventful flight, to be completely real with you. To be honest, a lot of the time while I'm waiting to get from point A to point B, I'll end up doing like other things, either chatting with people in my Discord or messaging people, reading things, watching things on the side. But not today. Never know though, maybe something exciting will happen between here and there. It's honestly better when I actually do go up with other people, because then I can spend my time concentrating on staying in formation with them. I don't know if you guys caught that, but I fucked up and I didn't change my flaps configuration. It's not a major deal, but we'd probably have more speed right now if I'd actually changed it earlier. And we might actually be closer to the target now if I'd done it earlier. But it is what it is. The F18 though is an absolutely fantastic platform. Honestly one of my favorites in the game. The changes that they brought to it recently with the radar, I guess, have been a little bit iffy, but I haven't had to do a whole lot of air-to-air in it lately, so it hasn't affected me too much. I've heard, like, both good and bad things about it, right? Like, it fixed some things. I guess it made other issues pop up. I think it had an issue there for a little while where it was just not tracking things. But I mean, if over time ED gets the radar in the F18 to the same quality of something like the Mirage 2000 or the F15, I'd be pretty happy with that. I don't mind having a radar that runs into issues with ground clutter, or, like, the F4 definitely will, or, drops contacts for, you know, good reasons. I don't mind dealing with a temperamental radar if it, you know, enhances the experience. I just don't want it to be buggy. Looks like our fuel's pretty much synced up, so we can go master arm on central pylon and down to our stores, and bloop, there goes the external fuel tank. And we'll go master arm off just to be safe. I'm actually probably going to do my climb now, or start doing my climb now, so that around 40-ish miles I'll be able to, let's see. Site popping up. This is kind of what I was talking about before, where we might end up going for something closer if it becomes an issue. It doesn't seem like it's an issue yet. And to be fair, I was thinking about running these in pre-brief. That's what we did the other day when we were going after an S300 site, but to be honest, I'm not entirely sure what kind of search radars they're going to have here, or if it's just going to be the sa-3, so I kind of want to run TOO if I can. Depending on how aggressively I want to use my fuel, we could elect not to fly back to the boat, and instead we could land at Beirut. It'll be a much shorter trip down to Beirut than back to the fleet, and I can burn a lot more fuel now just after burning out to where we're going. Admittedly, we are kind of heavy to be trying to fly at 40,000 feet. But we'll go burn around, we'll see how it goes. We have 9,000 pounds of fuel left, and it, to be honest, doesn't take that much once we're slick to get back out to the fleet. right around 40 miles, we'll probably deploy the TALDs, and then we'll turn out, and then we'll try to recommit. And we'll probably fire the missiles at about 30, 35 miles. You can fire them further out. They actually have pretty good range, especially at this kind of altitude, and especially if we like manually loft them. But we'll see. As you can see, we're not really chugging through fuel too badly. These numbers here on the right, those are our fuel. The numbers on the left are engine gauges. Benefit of being up this high is that you actually do get pretty good fuel efficiency. Yeah, in about 10 miles we'll drop our TALDs. We'll actually probably turn and descend a little bit, and then we'll pop back up when we go to launch our missiles. Getting close, we'll go master arm on. The goal here is that with the TALDs going out, the enemy site will start lighting up its radar thinking that it's under attack and try to shoot them down, either thinking that they're missiles or that they're planes. These sorts of seed strikes can be a lot of fun if you bring a 2-ship or a 4-ship, because you can come out there with everybody with a similar loadout to what I have here, or when we did it a few weeks ago, the first 2 guys carried TALDs and 2 harms, and then the last 2 guys carried all harms. But we were also trying to take out a pretty good sized site when we were doing that. And with that, that's all of our TALDs away. Now we'll turn out, stall the plane, since, as we all established in the F-18 video, I'm not a good pilot. Was probably much more aggressive than I needed to be turning out, but we can pick some speed back up, cruise out to, I don't know, 45 miles, and circle back on up 45 or 50 miles. Is peaceful up here, isn't it? It's honestly probably my favorite thing about this. Let's see, 50,000 pelts. Yeah, we'll probably try to fly back to the fleet. I'm not the best when it comes to Case 3 recoveries, so there's that. I cultivated a bad habit in how I land on carriers, playing a lot of games that were more arcadey than DCS before I started playing DCS. So you're supposed to get on speed and basically ride it down to the deck. Because I learned to land on carriers in games that didn't have on-speed indicators, I have a tendency to, I don't know, fly more manual than that. I've been working on trying to land correctly lately, but it can be a bit hit or miss. I have a lot more luck with it in the F-14. But you know, we'll see. So I do believe that that is our target. So now, going to keep it in front of us, nose up, afterburner on, and at about 40 miles I think we'll fire. Oh, looks like I lost it. I don't know if the Talds all got shot down or what, so we might have to get closer. Use ourselves as the bait. Actually, if we're gonna do that, it'd be best to start transmitting. Well, we'll see what happens. In fact, I can probably look. Actually, it looks like the Talds are all still up. Interesting. Well, it's going to be a real shame if they decide that they don't want to shoot at us. Well, that's both of our harms away. So with that, we can switch to our TACAN and well, we should be able to switch to our TACAN and our ILS. There we go. Thought I turned it on the boat. Oh well. So we will turn out and head back to the boat. 7,300 pounds of fuel should be more than enough. And once I get us headed in the right direction, I'll probably check back in on our harms and see how they're doing. If it wasn't so cloudy, I actually probably would have brought a targeting pod, and we could have kind of watched and seen what happened, but we'll see if they make it. Hopefully they still have a radar to track. Well, they're definitely firing up at them. That's definitely one of their radars activation. Yep, and that is it for our harms. Back to the carrier we go. We're about 100 miles out. I think we want to start our Case 3 approach at about 50 miles. So I think the last 20 or so miles we want to be more or less down on the deck, so we can actually probably afterburn out there, because we'll probably start descending pretty rapidly around 60 miles, so that by the time, normally I would descend around 35-40 miles on a clear day, and do like a break over the carrier, but we're not going to be able to see anything when we get down there. So instead, we're going to want to make sure that we're in position at least 10 miles out of the carrier. I might try to do a hands-off landing, but I haven't had a whole lot of luck with them. I know that you can do them, because I've seen other people do them, but in my experience with it, it usually doesn't work out the way that I want it to. It looks like the ship's coming towards us. We're actually going to have to fly past the carrier. So we want to end up somewhere around here, because that's going to be, yeah. So we're going to offset to the right a little bit. And I actually think we might be a little bit more conservative on our fuel. If I screw up the pass, I don't want to be flying on fumes. It'd be a real shame if I come in and end up punching out. See, up here, you'd almost never realize just how bad it's going to look down there. But you saw the rain that we took off in, and how abysmal that weather was. I'm kind of just reviewing my knee boards a bit. We can try to do ACL though. Let me double check something then. I think, yeah, that's what I thought. So ATC is my auto throttle. I just wanted to make sure it was on the button that I thought it was on. Approaching 60 miles, so we'll probably start descending now. I'm also going to make my ATC call early, I think.
Marshall 403, marking mops 069.60, Angel Street 7.5, State 7.3.
403, Rough Rider Marshall, HQ recovery. Did you want a post? Effective BRC 100. Altimeter is 290.903. 403, Marshall's Mothers 280 radio 23. DME Angels 8. Expected approach time is 390.
Checking on flight 2 defending.
403, Marshall on that 100, 23, DME Angels 8. Expected approach time is 39.
403, read back correct.
Worst comes to worst. They said it would be case 2, so there should at least be some visibility near the boat, so if worst comes to worst, we can just land it. Before we left, I ran through everything to set up all of our various channels. Essentially, TACAN's a radio beacon that helps us find the boat, ILS gives us parameters for landing, and the data link lets our plane communicate with the boat. So if we do end up doing a hands-off landing, then the data link's necessary. I don't think you actually need the beacon for DCS purposes, but it's always been my habit to turn it on.
077. Established Angels 20. State 5.8.
077. Roger, state 5.8.
Really not a fun day out, is it? So we'll probably hold right around here at about 5,000 feet. In fact, probably turn. We do it at this. No, we can't do radar until we're holding this altitude. Do barometric then. The idea is that little tack end symbol there is the boat. This is us. We want to fly behind the boat, turn in, and intercept that line. Which will give us a final bearing eventually. But just to be sure. Yeah. It's 092, 091. We'll see. It may change. We may have to change that line. They did say 100 before, but, you know.
Right, we'll let it like.
See, this visibility sucks. There are brakes though, so, you know. But when we took off, I believe we were in a squall, so I could not see anything off the ship when we took off. It is a little bit cheating that, that I can sit here and do this, but, you know.
077. Commencing. State 4.7. Altimeter 29.93.
077. Radar contact 12 miles. Expect final bearing 100. 077. Switch approach.
077.
Altitude.
077. Checking in 14 miles.
I need to install voice attack.
BRC 100.
077. 077. Platform.
I don't know if you caught that. sounded when I said that.
077, platform.
077, roger.
Not that again. I have a keybind that I think is being shared for something else, and it's something I need to fix. Lost my E-bracket. I do believe that we're lagging a little bit. It is very, very not ideal. Let's see if it comes back. Boat's turning. I don't think it is, but I don't think we're lined up either.
Radio check. Schedule anchor. Wendy is doing an ammunition run from after Terry Bay Route. Does anybody have any requests for ammunition?
Zero 77, Hornet Ball, 4.0.
This is not good. No E-bracket. It's not ideal. At least we touched the deck at the right angle. And at least we know we can actually see the boat. So we might be able to make another approach visually. The fact that I don't have my E-bracket is going to make this really, really difficult in the rain. I know a smart man would say, well, Drew, you don't have your E-bracket, you can barely see anything, you should divert, but, Mama didn't raise a bitch. We're high, we're fast, but I wanted to keep the boat in sight. We're gonna wave again. See, I'm in a weird position. I don't have an E-bracket. I want to keep the boat in sight so I don't have to go all the way out and restart the approach from like 10 miles, which is probably what the smart thing to do would be.
Bingo. Bingo.
3,500 pounds of fuel. If we don't land it on this next pass, then we'll go back out to about 10 miles and we'll restart the approach. Shit. I also just oversped the gear and the flaps really bad. Oh well. Dude, I'm gonna put this thing in the fucking water like this. Dude, it's 1,600 feet at a mile. There's no way. I'm trying to do this in the dumbest way possible, aren't I? Okay.
Like that.
Alright. We're at about 7 miles. Let's try this again. Hey, the E-bracket's back. Hell yeah. To be honest, I probably should have been able to stick that first landing. We could see enough of the boat that I should have been able to correct for it. So we could try to do an automatic landing. I wonder how that would work out. Hopefully better than how I did it. Because when I did it, I lost my, well, when I did it manually, I lost my E-bracket. Landed halfway down the ship. That's the question, though. If it's ever going to actually turn in. Okay, it is. Well, this is what we should have done from the beginning. I wasn't sure if it could do an ACL landing in case 2. I saw something the other day that said it was only in case 3 that it could do it, but it seems like it's doing its job.
Mexico 1112. Request rejoin.
Let's just hope it doesn't put us in the sea. I took command myself because it fell below the glide slope quite a bit, and I don't trust it.
Dodge 82. Request rejoin.
Bingo. Bingo.
There we go. So, as per usual, ACL did not want to cooperate with me, but I acknowledge that I did not exactly give it good parameters. Oh, That's gotta be what it is. Still? Any of you who stuck with me through my horrific first approach, welcome back aboard the Theodore Roosevelt. We had a semi-successful mission. We managed to at least hit our target, and yeah, that'd be that. Thanks for watching.